Coach Williams. Thanks, everybody. I got to set up like this.
Right.
Am I here?
Go ahead, Mike Topper.
Oh, good afternoon. Hey, everybody. I've never done this before. This is weird.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. Want to ask you, we know a little bit about what your team specifically has gone through. I don't think, a lot of us know the extent of what you've had to go through to play. Is it more difficult to pick up a game like this on just a couple days notice, or is that kind of added to the mix for what you've already been doing?
Yeah, it's all organized chaos at this point. We're just trying to figure it out. And Coach called me on Wednesday, and after 5 minutes of conversation, we agreed to play the game. And, at this point, I'm just thinking about who else I can call because I want to make this experience as simple as possible. And I totally find comfort and discomfort because nothing is going to be comfort or it's not going to be a sense of normalcy as we currently know it. So the one thing, the safe haven of comfort for us is just playing the game of basketball, regardless of, the amenities, the nuances, and the shortcomings that we had prior to.
Jared Fialco, WRAL.
What's up, Jared? How you doing, my man?
LeVelle, how you doing, bud? You've mentioned several times over how difficult it is for you guys to get games at this level. It's been 6 years since you've played here. It's been 7 years since State played you. Would you like to see a series like this continue without it taking pandemic to get it done?
Roy and I, we're good friends, and we've tried to schedule early on because we've always tried to schedule. We just couldn't find the proper dates to work out for us. They do theirs a little more a year in advance or a little further out than us. I always said in 2014 when we beat NC State, I thought that was a historical win for our program. It was the ultimate blessing, but it was also the ultimate curse because it's been difficult to get games. Such is life. That says a lot about your program and how it's evolved throughout the years. But, it sucks flying to the Midwest and even the West Coast and just taking games and, putting our team in uncomfortable situations. But they understand it's what it is when you come to North Carolina Central. Nothing is going to be easy.
Thank you, Val.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Luke DeCock.
Hey, LeVelle, what were you thinking when you guys were up 11? You were finding ways to get to the basket. Kind of what's going through your mind there, and how did you feel like the momentum kind of slipped away before the end of the half?
We came in. We're confident. We believe in ourselves. I told our team, I'm pissed off that we didn't win. We don't do more victories here. We way beyond that. We came in. We put a game plan in. We expected to win the basketball game. We thought we could take advantage. We know they're a damn good team, a really well-coached team. Coach is a Hall of Famer. So with all those components coming into play, we thought we could take advantage of some things because of their youthfulness, right? And if you're going to play them now, it's probably the best time to play them because they are young. 2021, those were phenomenal. So we tried to take advantage of a couple of things. And once we were up, I was just praying. And some of the offensive sets that we were trying to execute were familiar. And if I had to go to my bench, they haven't, and they just didn't know what we were doing. And so for the last 4 minutes of the first half, I thought that gave the game away because they didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know what we were doing. We was kind of drawing plays in the dirt, and it kind of just looked like sandlot basketball, and it kind of cost us. So I have to do a better job in understanding our team during this pandemic and giving us some kind of structure in those situations, regardless of the circumstances.
Josh Graham, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Coach Williams said that he hadn't thought about it before, but he might now, potentially trying to take his team on the road, maybe into your house. Just give me a sense for what it might mean to you if an ACC team went to North Carolina Central.
It would mean the world to us. Anytime we can get a home game, we're happy, whether it's an ACC or CCA school. If we can just get a home game out of it, we're happy. Coach, you guys got to understand that Coach has been phenomenal. Like he's been phenomenal to me. I come from middle school and then high school, right? So my pathway to, the Division I coaching route, it hasn't been, the typical route. It's kind of been abnormal, and he's always welcomed me open arms. And it's always, honestly, I feel like I'm a part of the North Carolina program. Because my cousin played here, Donald Williams, in 1993, and my friends Jerry and Rashid and Vince and Jeff McGinnis, and the list goes on. My son's godfather is Raymond Felton, and my daughter's godfather is David Noel. So he's always had a healthy respect. And with that said, he's always tried to look out for me and do whatever he possibly could. This helped us financially with our program, right? It was a great game, but he kind of did it to help us financially as well. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds for us. So even with the racial injustice and the inequalities that was happening, he and I had some healthy dialogue, this summer when all of the George Floyd and the racial dynamics was going on. And I said some things publicly, and he and I had a great conversation. And the one thing he told me was, I appreciate you saying that, because it made us all take a inside look at ourselves. And so anything to help our program, he's always done it. I wish he would have helped us by letting us win today, but such is life.
To follow real quickly, to follow real quickly though, did you and Coach Williams get closer this summer as a result of those conversations?
I don't think it was closer because we've always been close, and we've always had great dialogue and honest conversations. And we've always had a significant and healthy respect for one another. So I wouldn't say we got closer, but I would say we still became the best of friends.
Sorry about cutting you off there, Josh. Go ahead, Chappell.
Hey, Coach, what was your defensive game plan for guarding UNC's big men, and what do you think went wrong there specifically?
I thought I knew that was going to be, look, it's very simple. Everybody knows what Carolina does, right? If you're a Carolina fan, if you watch ACC basketball, I was a child growing up in the Triangle area. What Roy does is just I think it's Dean Smith on steroids, right? And so some of the same things Dean Smith have done. So we all know, my 7-year-old son can tell you exactly the Scott report on Carolina, but it's all easier said than done, because sometimes their best offense is a missed shot, right? And you have 15 feet of man inside that paint getting second chance opportunities. And, these guys are huge, man. Like, I don't know if TV does that any justice. You guys probably haven't seen these young Armando and Garrison and Dayron and Kels, like, for themselves. Like, but these kids are huge. And so if you put them all together, that's 28, close to 30 feet of man. And it's constantly coming at you. They're always healthy. They always energized. And so we just wanted to make sure we was going to double the post. Whoever caught the ball, just go double the post and make them pass out of a double team. And we were going to put the pressure on the young guys. I love Caleb. I love Leaky. And I love RJ. But I said, let's let the young guys beat us. Make them make some shots, except for play tech. And so that was pretty much the game plan. And we tried to execute it. And the rest, I didn't want to spend too much time on North Carolina because we didn't have practice time. So any idle time we need to spend on us and just let the chips fall where they may. And I thought the kids did a good job of executing to a certain degree.
Thank you.
Jonathan Duran, go ahead.
Coach Jonathan Duran, NCCU Sports Network.
Hey, John, buddy.
Hey, Coach. First and foremost, great game today. You talked about how it's been hard getting everybody on the floor. You're able to get just about everybody on the floor today, including Justin Watley. He comes in with 13 points. How big was it to be able to get him on the court today?
It was huge. He just got cleared yesterday. So, again, he hasn't practiced. He don't know what we're doing. But he's a returner from last year. So, I think just been out for 30 days, right? I haven't seen him. I had to reintroduce myself to him. And say, hey, I'm Coach Moton, what's your name? And, you know, we had a little joke, and I said, listen, go out here and play. And the moment you get tired, because I want to take into consideration your conditioning, you know, just let me know. He's such a competitor. I thought he got tired in the second half, but he just didn't let me know. And, but I'm looking at the stat sheet. I thought he filled in nicely, and the stat sheet is no indicator of how indicative he is to our success, because he's so smart, and we can play through him in the post, right? We can allow him to catch the ball at the pinch post and relieve some of the pressure off the guards. And, you know, he's a tough matchup because he can shoot the ball and drive the ball and post up as well. So we're happy to have him back.
Kip Coons, and that'll be our last one here.
Yeah, LeVelle, given that today you got to play your first game, 3 weeks into the season, would you have preferred to see the season start, say, after the holidays in January, and give everybody a chance to figure out what they've got, and hopefully, the pandemic has settled down with the vaccine on the horizon and just more time?
Yeah, I got mixed emotions about it. Honestly, Kip, one day I'm on one side of the coin, the next day I'm on the other. I think everyone is saying, let's wait to 2021 right now, because it still feels like we're in the middle. Like, it still feels like we're at the inception of this pandemic. It don't feel like we gotten it under control. If anything, it feels like it's gotten worse. I thought initially when the powers that be planted in March, they assumed that, okay, by 7 or 8 months, we should be here. But this thing is spiking all over the country, and they're saying it's going to spike even more after the holidays. And, with that said, I just think, for our young men, this environment is one of the safest environments ever, because we're testing, if not every day, every 2 to 3 days, and you're getting those results back. I used the analogy to someone. I said, listen, if the average person walk into Starbucks, studies say that, or statistics say, if it's 15 people in there, at least 3 or 4 of these people have COVID. But you go in, you get your coffee, and you leave, and you never know, right? Because they're not testing. And so you don't know who tracing, and you'll know how to track, et cetera, et cetera. At least on our campus, we get an opportunity to keep them safe. It's almost like a bubble within itself now that all the students are going home for the break, and they're the only ones here. And now they can concentrate on basketball. But on the other side of the coin, I want them to go home so they can experience, the love and respect for their families, because the truth of the matter is, what we're asking these student athletes to do across the country, we're not willing to do ourselves. Like, quarantine, people think quarantine is just like, chilling out for 14 days. Nah, quarantine is like really being by yourself for 14 days. And that just hits different to these kids. It's unhumane to not have human interaction. It kind of defies the laws of nature. That's who we are. People make the world go round. And so to ask someone, when you go through COVID, to stay isolated for 14 days, and we've been through that twice, and our kids were actually going stir crazy. I was going stir crazy. So it was, it's crazy. So I hope we get it under control, Kip. That's kind of a long-winded answer to say, I think we're going to shut it down right now, because I do think our kids need a break, but they love basketball. And before I took this game, I asked them, look, I don't care if we play or not. I'll play the Lakers tomorrow if you want to. I don't care, but it's not about me, because when I leave here, I go home to my family. They don't have that luxury of doing so. And I certainly wanted to respect that. So as long as they want to play, I'm all for it. And, but in hindsight, I do think we probably should have waited to 2021.
LeVelle, thanks. That is a great answer.
Thank you. Hey, Jazz.
Thank you very much, Coach.
All right.